Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment here for my postseason 2021 NFL mock draft. That is right. Last week we had our first mock draft, our rough draft, but now the season is over. We have the first, 18 picks locked. So now we're able to make a more solidified NFL mock draft. And remember, by the way, there will be weekly mock drafts on this channel every Tuesday or Wednesday. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. I have the bottom 16 picks scrolling down right now. I'm going to switch it to the next 16 picks in 2 minutes. This time, I'll remember, I promise. Last week I didn't do it until like 8 or 9 minutes in. And then we will discuss again only a certain amount of the picks. I'm not trying to be here for an hour talking about each and every pick, but your team will be talked about eventually, okay? Eventually. So we still have Trevor Lawrence scoring number 1 to the Jaguars. And I know we talked about Justin Fields last week. I know. But we have to talk about him again because he's the topic of the week. After an incredible performance in the college football playoff last week, Justin Fields now needs to be discussed. This man threw for 6 touchdowns after cracking his ribs. You thought he was going to be out of the game. He showed heart, he showed moxie, determination, and all of a sudden we have to seriously once again consider putting Justin Fields number 2 going to the New York Jets, and that's what I have in this mock draft. I have him going to the New York Jets number 2. It was an impressive performance. I saw a lot more of what I needed to see out of Justin Fields. I still think at times he does struggle reading NFL defenses. And I still think he's kind of a poor man's Kyler Murray. But he's also kind of looking like a slightly advanced or more advanced than Lamar Jackson was coming out of college. Now, certainly not the runner Lamar Jackson is either. So it's an interesting mix here with Justin Fields that I'm trying to figure out. But this is a new age of quarterbacks, and you look at the New York Jets, and they currently have Sam Darnold, who they're still trying to build protection around. But now instead of Sam Darnold, you could have this mobile quarterback in Justin Fields who you could build around in this new age of quarterbacks where mobility is so important. And Sam Darnold, he's not a total slowpoke. But for these new NFL standards, I mean, you're talking about a statue quarterback now when you talk about Sam Darnold. As compared to Justin Herbert, right? This guy's way more mobile than Sam Darnold, especially moving inside of the pocket, outside of the pocket, and still throwing the ball. Sam Darnold, when he goes beyond the line of scrimmage, I mean, sure, he can get some yards on you, but he doesn't move as much as even a Justin Herbert whenever he's actually looking to throw. So I think the Jets are really going to seriously consider this as they go into this rebuild. And I mean, are they even going into it? I mean, they've been rebuilding for only God knows how many seasons now, realistically and honestly. But I think he's just going to be too enticing for them or another team. So my prediction right now is Justin Fields is going to go number 2 in this draft. It's either going to be to the Jets or someone that they trade down to, okay, or someone that trades up, right? And it might have to be a team that we're not even having our eyes on yet. Like if the Washington football team wants to sell the farm for him, you can have to look out for that situation. The Broncos, the Panthers, who I have taken quarterbacks as well, by the way, as you can see. We're going to have to monitor the situation. But man, after that college football performance, college football playoff performance, I have to have Justin Fields going here. And we'll see whether or not he or Zach Wilson or even Trey Lance ends up being the second best quarterback in this draft class. Maybe even the first if Trevor Lawrence ends up not being as good as we think, or one of these guys ends up being even better than we could imagine. But for right now, Justin Fields number 2. So let's now move to the Bengals at number 5, where Bengal fans last week were very upset with me. And I want to have a conversation with Bengal fans right now. So Bengal fans last week couldn't believe that I had linebacker Micah Parsons going to them at number 5 because they want Jamar Chase. Give us Jamar Chase. This is what we want. We want Joe Burrow repaired with Jamar Chase. Bengal fans, are you Bengal fans? Because if you are, wasn't T. Higgins pretty damn good last year as a rookie? Didn't he have over 900 receiving yards? Doesn't he look like a 1,000+ yard wide receiver moving forward? Isn't Tyler Boyd one of the best slot wide receivers in the league? And now you want to spend a top 5 pick on another wide receiver? Can someone please make that make sense to me? I mean, it'll help, but what's going to help more? Another wide receiver in a team or for a team that had a pretty damn good passing game last year when Joe Burrow was out there, or a versatile linebacker like Micah Parsons who can get after the quarterback, stop the run, can be played at the Sam linebacker position, inside linebacker position, maybe even a little weak side defensive end, can be moved around. You would rather have another wide receiver, really. Like, I understand the Ja'Marr Chase, Joe Burrow connection. It's cute. It's so cute, fireworks. But it doesn't make sense to me. So this week, I bought, what's the word I'm looking for? I bit. I bought. I bit this week, but next week, I think I'm going back to Parsons, and I think I'm going to switch back and forth, and we're going to see at the end of the day who I have for my final mock draft. But it makes way more sense to me. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are there. AJ Green's done, okay? Forget about AJ Green. He's on a one-year deal. He's gone. You just need another little wide receiver. You can get Marvin Jones, and then boom, your offense is complete. You need a tight end, if anything, before you get another wide receiver. I'm not saying you need to take Kyle Pitts here or anything, but I'm just saying, don't understand the Ja'Marr Chase love. Help me understand it. So now let me switch to the bottom half of this mock draft, but I still wanted to discuss in the top 10. What did I want to discuss? Lions. Detroit Lions. So Lion fans last year took, and the Lions team, I should say, took Jeffrey Okudah with the number 3 overall pick, very high for a corner. Now, Okudah had his struggles this year. I think he dealt with injuries as well. Would the Lions take another corner? Because in this mock draft, and I think in a lot of mock drafts that I will have, Patrick Surtain II out of Alabama is available. Can they go cornerback two times in the top 10 picks in 2 consecutive drafts? I haven't seen it. I mean, I can't say that the last time I've seen it. I'm sure it's happened, don't get me wrong. Maybe it's even happened recently, but teams really want to avoid it. They want to avoid taking quarterbacks in the top 5 as much as they can. So the fact that the Lions took one last year was even surprising as is. So it's a question. It makes the most sense, though. As Gregory Rousseau, I think I like, and I have him going to the Lions here, but Patrick Surtain II is most commonly ranked as a better prospect right now, and I'll evaluate that for myself soon. But Detroit Lions fans, let me know your thoughts on that. And then I have the Cowboys taking Patrick Surtain. I talked to Cowboy fans last week. They're open to the idea of another young cornerback in there, despite the pick of Trevon Diggs last year. Makes sense to me. Your cornerbacks stink, so I had no problem doing that. So with that said, let's go ahead and one more thing. Patriots fans were complaining. And look, here's the thing. I know that Bill Belichick took N'Keal Harry a couple years ago in the first round. The first time he's taken a wide receiver in years. Jaylen Waddle's very good. If Jaylen Waddle falls to him, he'll probably take him. But the idea that Patriots fans are convinced that Bill Belichick that will pick a Dominic Easley out of nowhere, that'll pick a Sony Michel, that'll pick a N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry was out of nowhere. You think he's going to be predictable even this high in the first round for his standards? I wouldn't put it past Bill Belichick to pull something. And he might pick Christian Barmore here. I mean, I'm just going to warn Patriots fans right now. So we look at the bottom half of this mock draft. Let's look real quick at the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so the Dolphins, I think a lot of people think they're going to take the best wide receiver available here at 18. That's what I have happening. There are conversations around Tua Tagovailoa and whether or not he should be moved on from. Should he start next year? Absurd. Now, let me tell you, Tua had his struggles last year, especially in the Week 17 game against the Buffalo Bills, in which he threw for 3 interceptions. The Dolphins, say it with me, their wide receiver core stinks, okay? Devonta Parker is the best thing about it, and the rest of them, if you obliterate them from the planet of Earth, people wouldn't even know. It wouldn't even be a surprise. Wait, who? Okay, so what are we talking about here? You have to surround Tua Tagovailoa with more talent before you just throw him out of the window and say, okay, this guy's no good. Okay, the offensive line is still in flux. And with my pick, by the way, Penei, I want to say Penei Sewell. Is that how you pronounce his name? I haven't looked at the pronunciation guides yet. That's the next move for me. But with the pick of him at number 3, and that's like the only thing they can do, people. I know a lot of people aren't in love with the Dolphins taking him at number 3, the tackle out of Oregon. But what else are you going to do? I mean, you can reach for Ja'Marr Chase. But, ooh, that's a reach. You know, number 3 for him. It's a bit of a reach when Sewell looks like the better prospect definitively, by the way. Maybe you trade down a little bit if you can, but who's going to trade up? You know, it depends how high the stock of Zach Wilson and or Justin Fields and or Trey Lance goes. So I have Rashad Bateman here, Dolphins fans. What do you think about that? Washington football team. Are you people prepared to reach on a quarterback? I want to know. Should I slot Matt Jones here? Should I slot Kyle Trask here? I don't want to do it. When was the last time we've seen 5 quarterbacks go in the first 20 picks? I don't think it's happened. I know we had 5 going in the first round only a couple years ago where Lamar Jackson was the 5th one with a 32nd pick. I think once you get past 4 quarterbacks, the 5th quarterback ain't going until the bottom of the 1st or the 2nd. I mean, that's just what's happening. And I have bottom of the 1st, Mac Jones going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 19, you're going to pick the 5th quarterback at 19 and feel comfortable and feel confident in that? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. So I think the move would be, let's take a Rondale Moore, let's get our quarterback around 2, let's let him continue to work behind Alex Smith. Ron Rivera likes Alex Smith, especially the run that the Washington football team got on late season. So those are my thoughts on that. And then finally, we'll continue with the quarterback trend. Bucs fans, how do you feel about the Mac Jones pick? Is this a reach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to take Mac Jones here? Remember, Tom Brady is 43, going to be 44 for next season. It seems like the protege, the heir apparent should be drafted here. So that's what I had. And actually, we'll do one more. Seahawks, I had, no, not the Seahawks. The Jets, I had taking G. Harris, the running back out of Alabama. Jets fans, how you feel about Travis Etienne versus Harris? I had Etienne here last week. I have Harris this week. How do you guys feel about both of those players? So with that said, that's going to do it for my postseason mock draft. What are your thoughts on this mock draft? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. But until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.